There we go. Okay, I got it. Woo! Thanks, Kaylee. All right, go for it.
She wants you to go.
Oh, shoot. You want me to introduce? Okay, hey, guys! Here we go. Hey, guys, it is Tuesday in Team Destiny world. It's August 16th. In the rest of the world, it's still August 16th. Woo! We're so excited to have this call tonight, and we have some awesome content in which Amy's going to chat with us about. I think Lynn is going to chat with us tonight. But first, I want to do some recognition. So, listen, if I'm missing anybody, use the comments section. And in the meantime, while I am, recognizing everybody, make sure you pull up that chat function, because throughout this whole call, we're going to make sure we're checking that constantly to see if anybody has any questions. So make sure you pull that up, make sure you mute yourself, and let's do some recognition. All right, so for this month, we're going to start with Success Club 5. Okay, for this month so far, we have Amy Singer at 5 Success Club points, which means we have helped at least 2, maybe 3 people get started on their journey. Kaylee Pinto at 6. Chelsea, how do you say that?
I don't know.
Chelsea Whippy? Is that right, guys? Tell me. Let me know. Also at 6, we have Kim Bastion at 6. You guys, you are rocking it out. This means so far that all of you have helped your first 3 people for the month by the 16th. That's awesome. We should always make it a goal to make sure we're helping our first 3 in the first half of the month so that we don't have to stress at the end of the month. Okay, so we also got Jen Ebert at 9. We have myself at 10 and Amy at 11. Woo! You guys are all rocking it. That's Amy's hand. We have a couple people on the list who are up and coming, about to hit Success Club. So we're going to do a shout out to Rainey Werner, Amanda Steele, Lynn Weller, Sue Crosley, Colleen Myers, Lisa Heaston, Ann Schur, and Lynn Ziner and Cheyenne Bennett. Great job, guys.
Woo!
You are so close. Within the next 2 days, I'm sure you can get to Success Club 5 or 6. All right, so I'm going to move this over to Amy.
Let me crawl off your floor.
There you go.
I'm in the hot seat. Hey, guys. Look at this light. I'm like blown away. I'm going to come to Ashley's house all the time to do the team call. It's super, super cool over here. All right, so by a raise of hands, how many people in their coaching business feels like they failed at some point? Like, I can hold up my feet. I can hold up everything. Like, we all go through this. And I was just talking with one of my coaches, and she was like, hey, like, can you guys do a call about like failing and your struggles and just dealing with disappointment and hard times? Like, do you guys like deal with this stuff? Do you have disappointments and failures and tough times? And I'm like, for real? Are you seriously asking me that? Like, yes. Oh my gosh. Yes, we totally do. So I just want to chat with you guys tonight about Failing Forward. And that is an amazing book. Write that book down, Failing Forward. Awesome, awesome book. Great personal development. I had quite a few failures and disappointments during my coaching career, to say the least, you guys. There was many uphill struggles and moments that I wanted to quit. And I also had quite a few aha moments. I have learned that after the dust clears and things settle down, the failures and disappointments are really nothing more than a chance for me to learn and to grow as a person. And I also learned that the coaches I put on a pedestal actually have the same failures and disappointments that I was having, that I go through. So I learned that my upline and the top coaches that I follow, they all experience the same hardships along their coaching journey. They are no different than us. So I thought it was important to let my team know and to let the newer coaches know that we too experience these struggles. When I started, hitting Success Club 5 was so hard. I clearly remember that. And I had challenge groups that flopped bad, major flop. Like, who had challenge groups that were like a complete bust? Ashley's raising her hand. like I had customers return their challenge packs. I just had one return one last week. So that was -2 Success Club points for me in the Team Cup month. Like, but it's okay. I'm just going to push forward and brush it off. I had business building coaches quit on me when I first started. I had a super rock star coach and I was so excited to have her, and she just quit, and I was left kind of by myself trying to figure this all out and picking up my pieces. And that was a moment where I was like, you know what, like, do I really want to do this? Thank God I didn't quit, or you guys wouldn't be here on this call and we wouldn't have such an amazing team. And I also lost rank a few times, guys. Like, we do that. We fluctuate. We lose rank. It happens. So I think so often we see failures as a stopping point. Like, a lot of coaches said, like, I tried and I wasn't successful. So, you know, why should I keep pressing on? Making mistakes, having disappointments and struggles, these are all things that we can share on social media and allow our customers and our coaches to know that we are real, and to help them relate to us. Like, these things help them to relate to us. Being relatable attracts your potential challengers and your team, so they can relate to stretch marks and slip ups and insecurities. This is all things that our Facebook, our social media audience, they want to see this from us. So having these mistakes and disappointments and struggles, share them on Facebook. Get real, you know? I just posted the other day, and I'm going to get real with you guys here. I just posted the other day about my insecurities and how I would compare myself to others in this business. And it was open and it was honest, and it showed that I really truly struggled in this area of my life. But it's what I have learned from it. Like, I have so much that I have learned from this experience. So when you do a vulnerable post and it brings tears to your eyes, like it just brought tears to my eyes when I'm telling it to you guys, when you do posts like this, it just opens up a whole new world to your social media audience, and people will be able to relate to you. So bottom line is, each of us are in different places in our lives, and we have different priorities, different struggles, different amounts of time that we can work on our business, and we have different stories. And by playing the comparison game, I realized that I'm robbing the world of my future. Like, I'm robbing the world of my future coaches and my future customer. Like, I'm robbing them of my story. You know, like, they need to know my story. And I wasted so much of my time and energy feeling like I wasn't on that level that these top coaches were on. So I could never achieve that level. Like, I just felt like I wasn't there, and I just can't achieve it. But when I actually sat down and thought about it, how do I explain this? When I actually sat down and I was able to think about this, you know, they ran their own race. They hit Success Club 5 consistently, and they can all, like, we can all do that. They built their business, they hit Success Club 5, they ran their own race, and they were able to do it. And we can do that too without comparison or competition. So I really have learned from that, and I wanted to share that with you. I love how this one coach puts it, and like, I don't know her name for the life of me, but she said, failure is a bruise. It's not a tattoo. It's not permanent. So you don't get your coaching account revoked if you only hit Success Club 4, or if you miss it 1 month, or if you run a challenge group and everyone stops posting on day 6. Like, you can start the next month over, and you are in control. And the moment that you realize that no one else is watching you or judging you, you are going to be free to run your own race and just rock you, be you, run your own race. So let me see. I really want to just encourage you guys, especially the new coaches today, stop calling it failure. It's like, it's not failure, it's experience. So if you stop viewing those like Shakeology cost objections and return Shakeology orders or challengers that quit as a failure and start seeing it as experience, like, I'm super experienced. I don't know about you guys, but I'm like very experienced, especially dealing with like coach cancellations in the beginning of my coaching career. Like, I know how to handle coach cancellations. I know how to find ways to avoid it. I know how to help my coaches deal with that now. So that's not a failure, you guys. That is experience. I have experience now, and I can help you guys, and I can help my other coaches with that. So stop calling it failure. It's experience, and we're super experienced. Are you super experienced, Ashley? She's laughing. We are super experienced. I want to move the call over to Lynn. Lynn Weller, are you here, girl?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hi. Yes, I can hear you. So I'm super excited that you agreed to get on the call tonight with us and to share some of your struggles and how you have overcome it.
Yeah, great. Well, I'm excited too. I was I was getting a lot of people asking me how to deal with no's, and when you had said about what kinds of things come up in your coaching business and coaching world, that was just one thing that really stuck out in my mind. And I've done a lot of thinking about what to do when someone says no, and specifically being in that no slump, because that happens to me, and I think it was 2 months ago, I just felt like every single person I talked to said no. And that's a really hard thing to go through, is when you're, on a roll, or, maybe for a few months you've been getting a lot of yeses, you're feeling really good. And then all of a sudden, every single person says no. And you're like, how do I get through this? And so I just wanted to talk a little bit about that, actually. And, I wrote up my notes. This is, exciting for me to be talking. So if I look up, I'm just kind of glancing at my notes. But basically, and everyone's heard this before, is that no means not right now. I know you probably heard that a million times, but when you really think about it, it's so true. And for me, most of my challengers have said no. They've said no, so most of my challengers are people who've said no at one point or the other, at least one time before, maybe even more. So that's really true. And another thing that's actually good about the no's is that you cross them off on your list and you move on. Sometimes you get in that limbo where you're talking to someone and they're not really giving you answers, or they're not messaging you back. Think about it. When they say no, great, you've just made a step forward. You've actually made progress. Cross them off your list, or not off, but just mark it down your list and move on. And you actually benefit from that in the long run, because you have a lot of people who you are actually now able to talk to. So you're able to talk to more people, and you just made that connection with that person who said no, you're actually making it one step closer to getting them in your challenge group. I guess another thing that is good about getting the no's is that you can start to think about maybe how you can improve your message, and you actually get experience replying to a lot of different objections. So if everyone says yes to you, then you're not really you're not getting practice handling all those times when someone is saying no for a specific reason or another. So I also like to look at it like I'm getting practice. I'm able to handle someone better in the future who says no now, because I've rehearsed and understand what to say, really. Another really important thing that I just read about, and it's probably in multiple books, but it was in my new favorite book, The Miracle Morning. And, when you think about anything in, I guess, like a sales related type business, if you put all your eggs in one basket, so if you are only talking to, let's say, 3 people, and you're like really, really putting so much emphasis that they will say yes, and then they say no, you're like kind of devastated. You're putting so much pressure on yourself to get them to say yes because you only have a few people that you've talked to. And what happens, and I've noticed this with my own, my own business, is that those months when I'm like, oh, I don't really reach out to a lot of people, or I'm focusing on like 3 people who I really think should do it or would be, a great challenger. And then I actually sound maybe more pushy, and there's so much more pressure to get that one person. And the reality is, when you talk to so many different people, then when that one person says no, you're like, okay, no big deal, and you sound less pushy and you sound less salesy because you're just trying to help them out. And when they say no, you're like, well, maybe that's not the right thing for you, that person at that time, because no means not right now. So then you have, you've kind of spread out, you've been talking to more people, and you can really not put so much emphasis and pressure on yourself to get just those people to say yes. So I hope that makes sense. But then I really wanted to talk about, okay, so we have our no's, and we got to think about, no really isn't that bad. But how do we get through it? Because it's hard, and it's, it makes you feel kind of bad when you just keep getting people to say no. And I mean, the biggest thing you can do, I have a few different suggestions for how to get through this no slump. And the biggest thing is, of course, reach out to more people. It's really hard to not feel defeated and to not feel like you're doing something wrong. And, if it like wears on you a little bit when everyone keeps saying no, you're thinking, oh, is it something I'm doing? What, is it me? But the reality is that this is, a numbers game, which, isn't a bad thing, but it means that the more people you talk to, the more people are going to say yes. And that's just simple math. More people that you ask, the more people have to say yes. So you have to just push through it first thing, and, talk to more people, invite more people. The other thing is, don't take it personally. That's really hard to do. That's hard for me to do, because I think about, well, what don't they like me? Or, what is it that I did? But a lot of times, and really like large majority of the time, they're not, it has nothing to do with what you did, and it's definitely not about you. It's, they're just saying that right now. Think about maybe how many times you said no to your coach before you finally joined the challenge group, or before you decided to coach yourself. Think about, I have, like I said, a ton of people who are my challengers and coaches who have said no before, and eventually they realized it was the right time. But if you think about why you said no, if it wasn't Beachbody, if it was something else, well, did it ever really come down to that person? No, you probably just, maybe didn't have the funds that month, or you weren't really convinced that it was something that was good to you. So I'm just reading Amanda Heater's comment. Yeah, she said no a lot. And there's, it didn't have anything to do with me. It wasn't right for that person. So don't take it personally, because the person who's saying no is not, saying no because of you. The other thing is, you have to trust that what you are doing now is going to pay off in a few months. So even though maybe 10 people, 20 people, whatever, said no to you, down the road, those people are way more likely to say yes. And what the work you do now is really going to build up. So if you keep talking to more and, more people, and inviting to more people, then maybe it's not this month, maybe it's not next month, but then we're getting a lot more yeses because you did that much extra work in that month that you were getting all these no's. So it really pays off in the long run. And you just have to trust that it's going to pay off for you, because it will. remember it, that with that sales statistic, that it takes 7 times, 7 contacts with the person before they become your customer. And, that no is just one more step towards those on average 7 times that contacts that you make with that person before, they become your challenger. And you want to be the first person on their mind when they're ready. So by reaching out to them is definitely a good thing. Okay. Also, if you're getting a lot of no's, something you can think about is there a way that you can change your message a little bit? Take a look back at what you're saying, go over that conversation, and maybe there's a way that you can improve it. We're always looking for ways to improve. Like I said before about practicing, that could be really helpful to kind of go back, or send it to your coach, send them your conversation and see if there's a way that they can improve, or that you can improve how your conversation went. And that may be something that will be helpful to you. Maybe not always, but they might find some way that, you can improve. And also, you want to keep your confidence up. Like I said, that's probably, really tough to do, but keep your confidence up, because the more confident that you are, the more that comes across to other people, and the more that makes them want to join you and, work with you. So if you're kind of sounding, and getting down on yourself, that's not giving the best message out there. So always try and keep your confidence up, and remember the value that you're giving. Even if that one person didn't realize that it was right for them at that moment, there's so much value that you're providing for people and for your potential challengers. So really think about that when you're trying to build your confidence and stay positive and work through that no slump time. Last thing, and this is, you always want to call your coach. So if you're going through a no slump, if you're feeling really down, make sure that you reach out to your coach and talk to them. Because they'll help you, and at least they'll motivate you. I've done it a lot when I call Kaylee, and I'm like, hey, I just need a pep talk, and that's perfectly fine to do, and we want you to do that. So make sure that if you're going through a rough slump, then call your coach. So yay, that's everything, and I hope that was helpful.
Heck yeah, that was super helpful. I took a ton of notes, Lynn, a ton of notes from that. Who wants to hear from Lynn more often?
Yay.
Woohoo!
And you will get an opportunity, because Lynn, you're going to be doing a team call for us the very last Tuesday in August, right?
Yeah, in 2 weeks. Yay.
Yay. I love that you brought up so many good points and good reminders that I'm going to just pull this out. You're what?
This should have been my team call.
Yeah.
No. We want you to do another one. We got these good. Now we want another one. But I'm going to pull this out every time I start getting in my no slump, because instead of reading a book, the whole entire book, go for no or whatever, I got these quick notes right here that I can go to. Like, how many times did I right?
Yeah.
How many times did I say no? Doing what I do now is going to pay off in the future, basically. And you can learn from the conversation. I got to talk to more people. And I want to be the first person that's on their mind, which made me think just because they said no doesn't mean I should not really talk to them anymore. I should still go on their page and like and comment, keep them on my contact list, like and comment, and still keep them engaged with me. Send them a recipe or something instead of talking about Beachbody. I like that. What else did everyone get from that?
Boom, you are the bomb diggity. I love reading the chats. I love you guys.
I know a lot of us are struggling with this right now, so it couldn't be more perfect timing.
Yeah, absolutely. Does anybody else have any failures or struggles that they wanted to quickly share, and how they have overcome if you have any like specific things that you remember. Nobody?
I'll talk real quick. Okay, so listen, I love what Lynn said about always calling your coach. I bugged Amy almost every day for 4 years before I decided to actually do something consistently. Because, yeah, sure. Switch. All right, so listen. I fail every single day in this business, every single day. Every time I talk to Kaylee or Amy or someone, I'm like, oh, shit, I'm not doing it right. But that doesn't mean, like, I think, Amy, you talked about it, like, comparing yourself to others is really depleting of your happiness. So we've got to learn to that. Listen, that's not, we can be inspired by everybody else. We can learn from them, but do not compare them. Their story is not your story. You're going to write your own. And it took me a long time to realize that. And guys, listen, if you want to talk about failure, I got started as a coach in 2010, and didn't hit Success Club probably like 3 times in 4 years because I was such an on-off coach who wasn't dedicated. And I want to say, like, I can see how other people would say, oh, it doesn't work. But really, it was me. I wasn't working it, you know? And so whoever you are out there, if you're listening and you've never hit Success Club ever, you can change that right now. You can make that decision right now and reach out to your coach and figure out why haven't you been hitting Success Club, and be honest, because if it's because you're not working it, you're not actually inviting every single day, that's why, okay? But you have to be honest. You have to be upfront. And here's the deal. It's not easy to point out where your mistakes are. It's not easy to talk to someone. If you're anything like me, you're like a type A personality and you hate admitting when you're wrong. And when you reach out to your coach, when things are struggling, sometimes you have to admit that you were doing something the wrong way and not just saying it's that thing. It's the script. It's whatever, you know. You've got to really like be real with yourself and be real with your coach and lay it all out there. If you only invited 3 people in 1 week, that's an issue. And Lynn went over it. She said, listen, if you're having lots of no's, A, talk to your coach. B, look at your conversations and message them to your coach if you can't figure out how to improve them. And C, invite more. So that was the biggest thing I had issues with. I just wasn't inviting enough, and I had to come to realization with it myself. So yeah, always call your coach and chat with them and figure out where you can improve. That's huge. And like I said, if you're anything like me and you feel like if you're not doing well, you might like kind of dig into yourself and kind of like shy away from your coach because you don't want to, you don't want to look bad in front of your coach. But that's the whole point. The point is to go to your coach. And so when you are struggling, more so than when you're not struggling, you need to reach out to them and talk to them because they're there for you. So don't like run away. Don't run away don't jump over that.
Come over here.
Don't run away if you're struggling. That's when you should run to your coach the most.
I have to go pee.
Okay, go pee. I love kids. All right, so I just wanted to share that with you. A couple months ago, I think it was like 2 months ago, I was messaging a ton of people and kept getting crickets. Like nobody was answering me back, and I couldn't figure out why. And I got on the phone with Amy, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on. And I realized that my type A personality was getting in the way, and I wanted answers from people right away. And she's like, well, did you just ask them how they're doing? I was like, I think I forgot that. So instead of like blurting everything out, hey, I'm doing this challenge and I'm really excited about it and I think that you might be interested. Would you like more info? I was like, hey, how you doing? And that made all the difference. So listen, it could be anything.
It might not be this huge.
Yeah, it might not be a big thing to fix. It might be a tiny little thing. But you've got to talk to your coach to figure that out. Figure out if you're like a bulldozer or not. So anyway, I'm going to let Amy finish this up. Go ahead.
I'm not going to pee.
Okay. Oh, I love this house. This is so fun here. Oh, my kids are grown, but these little ones that have to pee and running around in cute pajamas are so cute. Okay, anyway, that was such an amazing job, Lynn. Like, I am so excited to have you as a leader on Team Destiny, and I'm so excited to hear you teach us more. And you look absolutely gorgeous tonight, by the way. I wanted to tell you that. You look so pretty. So I'm going to save the rest of my call actually for next week. I am going to be sharing with you guys about empowering our challengers. We have this awesome country heat test group that is coming up, and I want to share with you guys how to empower your challengers and how to help them get results. And this is a little formula that I'm going to be discussing next week, so you can write this down. It's actually a formula. Success Club points, we turn them into successful challengers. And then successful challengers, we turn them into successful coaches. So next week, we're going to be talking about how to support your challengers in this new country heat test group that we have going on, and how to get those Success Club points into successful challengers, into successful coaches. So that is going to be next week's call. Does anybody have any questions so far? Anything, any questions before we end it tonight? If so, you can unmute yourself. Going once, going twice. Okay, guys, thank you so much for getting on. It's always a pleasure to see you guys every single week. Have a great week. Have a great night.